What if everything the longevity world told you about Zone 2 training is only half the story? And that missing half is the exact reason your VO2 max has barely moved in months. Welcome back. Today we are cracking open one of the most important and honestly most misunderstood debates happening right now in exercise science. A landmark peer-reviewed paper dropped in mid-2025 out of Queen's University and McMaster University, and it quietly challenged one of the biggest assumptions in the biohacking community, that Zone 2 cardio alone is the king of mitochondrial adaptation and VO2 max development. And once you understand what the researchers actually found, the way you build your weekly training will never look the same. Let's start with why this even matters. VO2 max, the maximum rate at which the body can consume oxygen during exhaustive exercise, has emerged as one of the most significant biomarkers in both athletic performance and longevity research. And this isn't just gym rat trivia. Research consistently identifies VO2 max as one of the strongest predictors of all-cause mortality and cardiovascular disease risk, with fit individuals in the top quartile of VO2 max for their age group showing dramatically lower mortality rates than those in the bottom quartile. Think about that. Not your cholesterol panel, not your fasting glucose, your cardiorespiratory fitness ceiling. Moving from a low to a moderate VO2 max can reduce mortality risk by up to 50%. That number should stop you in your tracks. So naturally, the longevity crowd latched onto Zone 2 as a vehicle to get there. Zone 2 cardio refers to sustained aerobic exercise performed at roughly 60 to 70% of maximum heart rate, a conversational pace the body sustains primarily through fat oxidation. Repeated Zone 2 sessions signal your body to build more mitochondria and increase the density of enzymes involved in oxidative metabolism, and this adaptation improves your ability to extract and use oxygen, which is reflected in VO2 max. Sounds perfect, sounds complete. But here's where the story gets complicated. Popular media has recently positioned Zone 2 training, defined as low-intensity exercise below the lactate threshold, as the optimal intensity for improving mitochondrial and fatty acid oxidative capacity, thereby supporting cardiometabolic health. And researchers at Queen's and McMaster decided to actually test that claim rigorously. What they found was sobering. Zone 2, as physiologically defined, sits below the threshold needed to reliably trigger mitochondrial adaptation. A 2018 meta-analysis suggested that mitochondria adapt most robustly above approximately 65% of work rate maximum. Zone 2, defined by blood lactate below 2 millimoles per liter, falls below this threshold for most individuals, meaning the adaptive signal that the Zone 2 narrative credits it with generating may simply not be present at that intensity. Let that sink in. You might be spending hours at a comfortable conversational pace, believing you are building the mitochondrial machinery that extends your life, and the signal to actually build it may not even be loud enough. Now, before you cancel your easy cycling sessions, here is the critical nuance. While Zone 2 alone produces smaller VO2 max improvements than HIIT in most research, it is the foundation on which high-intensity work operates most effectively, and is associated with mitochondrial adaptations, fat oxidation capacity, and cardiac remodeling that HIIT alone does not fully develop. Zone 2 is not worthless. It is incomplete when used in isolation, especially if your weekly training time is limited. A 30-minute interval session at or above lactate threshold may produce mitochondrial signaling equivalent to or exceeding a 60-minute Zone 2 session. The correction from the 2025 review is that Zone 2 works best as one component of a training program, not as the only component, especially for people training fewer than 6 hours per week. This is a swing most people need to make. If you are doing 4 hours of Zone 2 per week and nothing else, you are leaving VO2 max gains on the table. So what does the optimal structure actually look like? The research points clearly toward what exercise scientists call the polarized model. The most well-supported training distribution in endurance sports research is the polarized model. Roughly 80% of training volume at low intensity and 20% at high intensity, with minimal time in the moderate middle zones. Research comparing polarized training against threshold-dominated approaches found the polarized group showed significantly greater improvements in VO2 max, maximum power output, and time to exhaustion. You do your Zone 2 work, you do your hard intervals, and you deliberately avoid the gray zone in between that accumulates fatigue without delivering peak adaptation. Here is where precision becomes your edge. Defining Zone 2 precisely is considerably harder than the confident tone of most Zone 2 content suggests, and a 2025 paper tested multiple common definitions of Zone 2 and found they pointed to meaningfully different absolute intensities. Your smartwatch default heart rate zones are almost certainly wrong for you personally. The best method for finding your personal zone 2 is a metabolic analysis or a lactate test to identify fat max and anaerobic threshold, because age-predicted heart rate formulas only fit about 20% of the population. If you are serious about this, get tested. One session at a sports performance lab will give you data that transforms every workout you do for the next 2 years. And do not overlook what is happening at the tissue level. Zone 2 endurance training induces significant improvements in mitochondrial content, function, and substrate utilization. Capillary density is an often overlooked physiological mechanism. Improving the number of capillaries per muscle fiber will drastically improve oxygen delivery, insulin sensitivity, and mitochondrial oxidative metabolism. This capillary remodeling is one of Zone 2's genuine superpowers that high-intensity work alone cannot replicate to the same degree. You need both systems working together. The bottom line here is this: Zone 2 is not a scam, but treating it as your entire aerobic strategy is. The 2025 research is not telling you to stop going easy, it is telling you to stop going only easy. Build your aerobic base with Zone 2, but intentionally layer in 1 to 2 high-intensity sessions per week where you are pushing above lactate threshold. That combination is where VO2 max actually climbs. That combination is what the data says moves the longevity needle. If you want the full breakdown, the exact training split, the best low-tech ways to estimate your personal Zone 2 at home, and how to structure a 6-week VO2 max elevation block, head over to thevitalityscoop.com/newsletter right now and subscribe for free. I have put together a comprehensive written guide that goes even deeper than we could cover here today. The link is in the description. Share this video with someone who is grinding out hours of easy cardio and wondering why their fitness is plateauing. This one is for them. I will see you in the next one. Damna.